Yo, yo, yo! Welcome back to another episode of That's Fyre. Episode 86, I think. 86 or 85. My name's JD. It's a pleasure to be with you all here today, tonight, tomorrow. Time is just a construct, guys. Live freely and be yourself, and love will find you. No. Listen, I'm in the Hooters shirt, the orange shades. I'm doing good. I'm feeling good. There isn't a lot of news. Coachella happened, which, is a big thing. But outside of that, not a lot of big things happen. So it's mostly just Coachella talk. I think I have, Tomorrowland Brazil dropped a lineup. So we'll run through that, but kind of just talk about Coachella from the outside. And then I have this cool article about why EDM is the sound of success for Coachella. I've made that point on the pod before, just about the lineup. I believe this is the most DJs they've ever had on the Coachella lineup, so that's exciting. But yeah, it's tough. I've said this before, it's tough talking about these festivals when I wasn't there, So hopefully in the future, I'll be able to, the path that I see this podcast going on and succeeding on is, one, getting interviews, which I just simply haven't reached out to enough people, haven't gotten yeses yet. But that's on me. And then also, once everything gets going to festivals, interviewing people there, and then talking about these experiences and sharing the beauty of dance music through my experiences and my lenses. So that's kind of the issue currently, where I want to just talk about Coachella, but I wasn't there, so I only know a little bit. Nowadays people post everything, and it's everyone on Instagram is best weekend ever. That's it every year. But on TikTok there were a couple interesting posts about the crowd size, which is objective, but and all that other stuff. So it's kind of an outsider's take on what I saw, that sort of thing. But the podcast will be better when I'm actually going to these events more. But let's talk about my weekend. First, I went and saw Flight Facilities at Walter Warehouse here in Phoenix. It was pretty fun. They crushed. I'd never seen them before. Been a fan of theirs for a bit now. They've put out some really good new work. They had Crave You early on, Claire de Lune, kind of formative songs for myself and other people around my age, I think, who have gotten into dance music. But their latest album, which let me find out what exactly it's called, was awesome. Was a very fun listen. With the amount of music that comes out, you don't really go through full albums as much as you should, because every week a new artist that you like or a new artist that you discovered this year is putting out an album. But this album, Forever, it's from 2021 actually, so it's actually been quite a bit. But that was the last album they did. It was insane. It was very good. Lights Up with Channel Trace. A lot of good features. Broods on the title track, Forever, and then What I Want. Heavy with Yor Smith, I think, is my favorite. And then Stay with Yor Smith is also my favorite. Yor Smith is a vocalist, I believe. Yes. Lovely woman. Lovely woman. But yeah, saw them at Walter Warehouse. It was sick. I met them. So their stage was kind of boiler room-esque setup, where they weren't elevated, and you can also kind of walk behind them during it. So when the set was over, A lot of people went and asked for pictures, and they were kind enough to take pictures, and I got a picture with them. I'll probably put it up, and then I got them to sign my Zintin. There was a group of people getting autographs of vinyls that they got, I believe, of the Forever album. And I went up to this guy. I was like, "Hey, are you guys leaving soon? Like, could I borrow your Sharpie really quick?" And they're like, "Yeah, sure." I walk up, and I had been talking to one of the guys for a second. I was like, do they have a Sharpie I could use? He's like, yeah. And then whatever, but he was very, very kind, and he was like, yeah, we'll get to you. I'll get you a Sharpie. And then I just went and got my own, and then I showed up and I asked them to sign this, and they were both laughing. They're like, that's awesome. Told them how we watched their what's it called, decades mixes. If you guys haven't seen those, go see them. They're like hour long, maybe like a little over an hour. They made like a mix, like dance music mixed with like the top songs from that decade. They have 80s, 90s, 2000s, I believe, as well. 2010s is the one that I watched with my buddies on a bachelor party one night. It was a great move. Like, end of the night, I get back to the Airbnb, and everyone was like fucked up. So what do? Just watch this hilarious thing for like an hour, and they had like political quotes and just like current event news, like breaking news segments, like mixed into like dance drops and like popular dance music songs from that era. It was really cool. But yeah, they were fine. They were fun, and they went and played Coachella actually. Like, I saw them Friday. They played on Sunday, but yeah, Coachella. I caught some of the streams. I caught a lot of the streams Friday, or a couple of streams Friday. I saw Everything Always. That was the night that I went to the concert, and then that night we the afters, we just watched more Coachella sets because they were just restreaming them. Steve Angelo, Anti-Up. So I guess I watched more than I thought I did. Caught a little bit of Peggy Goo before we went to the show. And then Saturday I didn't watch as many streams. I was super fucking hungover. And then Sunday I watched. Actually, Sunday, I think I just watched The Sopranos, but then Monday morning, I woke up at like 6 a.m. and watched the John Summit set. Spectacular. Those guys are awesome. I didn't catch Dom Dalla's solo set, but fuck, man. I feel like John Summit and Dom Dalla did the Chris Lake and Fisher last year, where they debuted some new songs and just had kind of like one of the cooler sets of the weekend from afar. I wasn't there. But people loved it. Dance music was a big part of it. And yeah, this article is talking about how dance music is what's going to help keep carrying Coachella. And the more people that are getting into dance music, the better. I will stand by that. Everyone who's like gatekeeping and like making fun of Alex Earl or whatever influencer or any fucking 18-year-old newbie for getting into dance music and being like, oh, they're ruining it. Like, you guys are the most annoying people ever. Don't be like that. We should be welcoming people who want to vibe and like the same music as you do. EDM is not your personality anymore, and you can stop being an asshole about it, because the more people that listen to your favorite artists, the more people that go to these shows means the more music that you're going to get, the more shows you're going to get, the bigger the better when it comes to music. And so that's where I stand. My line is in the sand. And I think it does take a little bit of maturing to get there. I think when you're first getting into it and you're like 18 or 20 or whatever, and you're like still figuring out your identity yourself. Honestly, I'm like 26, still figuring out my identity myself, but it's like you kind of latch on to things and claim them as yours, when in reality it's just something that everyone is allowed to enjoy. So that's fun. But other moments from Coachella that I remember, Grimes DJ set debacle, that was unfortunate, because I feel like she's already kind of a figure that everyone can go after. Like, you reach a certain point of celebrity, or people reach certain points of celebrity where, like, they are no longer, like, the cool, popular thing. Now everyone can just make fun of them. So I feel like a lot of people were making fun of her for it. But, I don't know, malfunction or not, I couldn't even get through the clip, to be honest. It was, like, it made me feel so bad. I heard her say, like, we're having major technical difficulties, whatever. But, that was unfortunate. The Do Lab stage. Love the Do Lab. Lightning in a Bottle is coming up next month. The new stage that they had with, like, the ripple trees, the trees with, like, the fucking curtains on them, visually looked crazy. I had one of my friends send me a bunch of videos from that stage, and they all looked insane. And yeah, it just looked like a positive experience. The Kassar stage seemed like a good experience. I caught Green Velvet back-to-back, Honey Dijon after the Flight Facilities show also. I'm like sitting here like, I didn't watch the stream that much, and then I'm like, oh, after the Flight Facilities show, I was up until like 5 a.m. watching streams. So I did watch a lot of the streams. But yeah, dude. It looked like a great time. The one TikTok that I was referring to a few minutes ago about the crowd, it was this chick who's like, this is her 8th or 9th Coachella in a row, and she was saying, here, I'm trying to figure out how to best get the glare out of my shades. Whatever. But she made this TikTok and was like, there weren't as many influencers and there weren't as many people in the past. Coachella can be pretty crowded. The year that I went, it felt super fucking crowded. I remember seeing Tame Impala and like walking out of that crowd for like 10 minutes, it felt like, and still being in the crowd. It was fucking actually very absurd. So I'm sure those main stages still felt like that, but she was saying how much she loved it because there weren't as many people in there. There were a lot of smaller artists, and you know, the headliners, Lana Del Rey's huge, Doja Cat's huge, No Doubt was like a throwback set, not to make anyone feel old here, but they like, it wasn't a Harry Styles or a Beyonce or, you know, a Daft Punk or something like that just knocks everyone off of their socks, right? So maybe that had something to do with it. Like, there wasn't the Beehive there in full force. Instead, it was like, you know, Doja Cat or whatever. Like, I don't know. Interesting. But, yeah, it looked like a success. Weekend 2 is coming up. If you're going, stay safe. If I win a parlay tonight, I promise I'll go. For the podcast, I'll go. And I'll fucking go alone, dude, if I have to. And fucking just you know, be able to tell the tales. But if I'm not going, I'm going to be watching the stream. The Yuma tent will be streaming. So there'll be a lot of good artists there. Carlita, Adriatic. And so, yeah, it looked fun, man. Every year, I'm like, I'm not going to go to Coachella, watch the stream. Like, I should have fucking went. I need to go to Coachella, whatever. But yeah. So this article, Future Proofing Festival, CAA Vet, that's an agency, Alex Beckett, on why EDM is the sound of success for Coachella and more. And so we'll kind of just get right to the interview because I don't want to just read this to you, but Coachella made the decision to blend Sahara's lineup with more mainstream artists. It seems Kassar is the festival's new epicenter of dance music. Why now? He said, the way underground, quote, house and techno music has become so popular in recent years, and arguably is now the mainstream of dance music, it is. The traditional home at the festival for that sound, the Yuma tent, has become too small to service all the demand. It's a great sign for the health of the industry that the festival needs a stage like Kassar for this growing audience. What was so appealing about Kassar? Coachella has been a pioneer for dance music over the years. They've done it again with Kasar. The opportunity to play an extended 3-hour set is unheard of amongst multi-genre contemporary festivals and represents the core culture around DJs and raves. It's exciting for these artists to have the freedom to take fans on journeys without constraints of 60 to 75 minutes sets that are typical to the festival. Yep. We've seen an urge in EDM bookings at festivals like Coachella. Can you elaborate on strategic advantages beyond pure popularity that booking EDM artists brings to a major festival? Coachella has been booking electronic artists for decades, but it's true this year feels particularly dance heavy. I looked it up. Most DJs since 2017, and I don't think 2016 and prior they had more than they do now in recent years, and this year was the most since 2017. I think 2018 or 19 was the closest. It's like over 60 this year, 60 something, and the closest it got was like 54 or like 58, I want to say. So relatively close, but the most also, they've been booking EDM artists for decades, but this year feels particularly dance heavy. For whatever reason, I think other genres are down right now, and electronic is filling up a lot of that void on festival lineups. Dance music appeals to a broader audience than a lot of genres, and that drives mass appeal. I don't know that it appeals to more a broader audience than other genres. I think when we're talking about specific subgenres, sure, but I guess when you clamp every subgenre together, you're like, electronic music draws more artists. It's like, well, yeah, because there's house, bass, there's a million different subgenres. So when you're adding them all together and just throwing them into electronic music, that could be the case. But I think it's just this younger generation. I'm 26, but like, college kids now are listening to a lot more dance music, it seems like. When I was in college, I went to a big school, ASU, and everyone that I knew did, or most people did. But that was more like by the end of my college career. I think when I entered college, there still weren't as many like dance music fans, and by the time I left college, so like 2015 to 2019, it had grown exponentially. And so here we are 4 or 5 years later, and they like that growth has had to have doubled at least, so I think these college kids are going to these parties, and like there's DJs everywhere. Everyone and their mother is a DJ. So naturally, like I was saying before, when you're looking for an identity and you see that your friends are into this really cool, fun thing like dance music, it's easy to hop on board and run with it, because you can find your own stuff. And I think that's what a lot of people are doing. So Coachella also, I don't know if it's necessarily usually a younger demographic, but I think you can almost like assure that the majority of like the 18 to like 24 bracket demographic are into dance music. Like the majority of these kids are into it, so they're catering to those guys. But also, dance music at festivals is just the best. Dancing at festivals is the best. So let's see, there's a question about live production and stage setups that we don't really need to talk about. Are there any particular up-and-coming artists or subgenres that you anticipate will gain even more traction in the festival circuit in the future? Hard techno is having a moment with the younger generations. We're having a ton of success at CAA in minimal tech and minimal deep tech space. Our new colleague Julian Teixeira has a lot of the best up-and-coming artists in the world, like Chris Dussy, Dennis Cruz, Ben Sterling. Minimal tech, minimal deep tech. I can see that. Melodic techno. That sound is something that like a couple years ago I wouldn't want anything to do with, and now I do like it. So that's exciting. Let's see. What challenges or obstacles do EDM artists face when it comes to securing prominent slots in major festivals dominated more traditional rock, hip-hop, pop acts? DJs and EDM artists have been sharing the top lines of festivals with those other genres for years. In the past, relatively few dance artists headline hard tickets, and their value is closely tied to VIP sales, still does, which is harder to quantify and not public information. That's a different metric that made direct comparisons difficult and worked against dance artists for prominent slots or billing, but many dance artists live in the hard ticket world now, and it's not much of a thing. Okay? How do you see the festival landscape evolving in the next 5 to 10 years when it comes to the representation of EDM on major lineups? The sky is the limit. That's what I think. One of dance music's greatest strengths is diversity, both of the audience and the music. I expect to see more dance acts on big stages and small stages alike, and different music thrives in different settings. I love the variety of experience that Coachella offers in this way. You can go see an insane visual spectacular like Anima in the Sahara tent, then pop over to the Dulab for the best dance party at the festival, then head to an immersive experience with Rufus Du Soul's DJ set at Kassar, then end your night with Adriatic and the Yuma for a true nightclub experience in the middle of the festival. The options are incredible. Yep. I agree with all those. Alex Beckett. I'll have to go follow this guy. I'll do that later. But yeah, other moments. Michael Beebe. Just the story of the fucking year, and he had his mom there, I believe, at the Kassar stage. The clips were really emotional. Again, dance music right in the middle of it, right? Congrats to him on everything. That's inspiring. He had a 30% chance to live a year ago, and now is playing fucking Coachella. So he is, and from what I've seen and read, great guy. Couldn't have happened to well, cancer can fuck off, but this admiration and respect that he's receiving from everyone couldn't have happened to a better guy. So moving along here, the Tomorrowland lineup dropped. So for Brazil, and it looks pretty fucking stacked. Armin van Buuren, Alesso, Axwell, Boris Brejcha, Don Diablo, Vintage Culture, Charlotte DeWitt, Hardwell, Chami and Mala, Giorgia Angioli, who I found very recently really cool, Bonobo. Bonobo closed out the Dulab with Barry Can't Swim, I guess. That was probably awesome. I need to go. Chapter and Verse, Kevin DeVries, Netsky. Yeah. Looks fucking sick. So the Brazilian artists that are going, Vintage Culture, Alok, Beltran, is really, really good tech house. Anna Gopton DJs, Mochak, another legend, Cat Dealers, Jessica Branca, Illusionize, Fernanda Pistelli, Malifu. So yeah. And this lineup is actually easier to read than the actual Tomorrowland lineup. The other Tomorrowland lineup is literally like the scroll from like Kung Fu Panda, or it looks like the scroll from SpongeBob when he just writes the, but you roll it down, she just writes the, but when you really roll it down, there's a lot of words. It looks like a fucking scroll, that goddamn lineup. It's the funniest lineup in dance music, because they post this fucking graphic and the words are in like size 2 font, and they expect people to be able to fucking read it. Like, it's fucking crazy. Let's see who else I miss. Ant Dot and Maz, Corolla, Dub Dogs, John Blomqvist, Gopton DJs. I don't know who that is, but they have me by their name. Lost Frequencies, Netsky, and Timmy Trumpet. There's always names that you missed when you're skimming through these, but yeah, that looks fun. Where is it? It is they're going to Medellin in a few weeks, and then it's in Sao Paulo at Parque Maide in Itu. Don't know where that is, but seems cool. October 11th through 13th. Oh, it's the same venue that they've done it before, so that's cool. Pre-sale is on April 18th. Worldwide ticket sales for everyone else is May 2nd. So tomorrow is pre-sale if you're signed up for that. But yeah, that has been That's Fyre. 25 minutes is pretty good for just Coachella talk. But I appreciate you listening, tapping in. I promise to get a guest on soon. After I press stop on this, I'm going to message some DJs and see if anyone would like to hop on. But I appreciate you watching if you did. Just a quick episode today. Remember to like, subscribe, all that good shit, and I will see you next week. Stay safe out there.